Hi, how you all doing? Welcome back to our Lions Walk. Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much for tuning in for the latest episode. It's episode 23 of this series. And this week we're asking, what have we learnt about Alex Neil's football so far? It's not going to be very pleasant listening from Callum and Charlie so far. Can fans do more to help? There are suggestions that when certain players have been brought on, there's a lot of negativity to some of the substitutions. So can fans just be help by being quiet? Bit of a controversial view. We're going to preview the FA Cup. We've got a Dagenham Redbridge fan standing in the wings waiting to talk to us about this massive FA Cup tie for them. But do Millwall fans care? And what are the top three signings that Millwall should be making this January? So lots to get through. Delighted to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Drop us a subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Callum and Charlie back. Happy New Year to you, fellas. It feels like there's a revolution going on at Millwall, but perhaps a bit of a backwards one first. Callum, what have we learnt about Alex O'Neill football so far?
Yes, Happy New Year, Mark.
I called him Alex O'Neill there. Alex Neil football.
Alex Neil, yeah. Happy New Year to everyone. I think you can't really judge him yet. He's only walked in the door before the Oxford game. I think he only had one day before that one, and then he had the one training session before Sheffield Wednesday. I think it's more he wants to sort of revolutionise the way we play, rather than, we like to call it hoofball, where, you lift it up to the striker and play long balls. I think you see in the Oxford game, I went to the Oxford game, and that game we tried to play it around the back quite a bit and tried to play through the lines. And it didn't work. It did work at times, but we just don't have the players to play that way at the moment. So I think these next two transfer windows are very important, that we get bodies in, because I feel like at the minute our squad is very, very struggling at the minute to cope with the amount of games that we've had over the Christmas period. So I wouldn't judge him yet, but I'm very hopeful that he can sort us out with some good results in the next 6 months before the end of the season.
Cheers for that, Callum. Charlie, one of the main criticisms of Neil Harris was he wasn't playing the youngsters enough and playing his favourites. Are we starting to see more of the youth coming through for you?
Yeah. I mean, the big one I'd say is he's obviously started Ivanovic for his last couple of games. I think from what I've seen, from how people talk about Alex Neil football, he does like to have a big man up top. And of course, Ivanovic being 6'3" and massive sort of fits to that. And I think he's the sort of profile striker that he likes. I saw he came out with some comments today saying how impressed he's been with him being a handful over the last couple of games. So that's a good sign to see that he has the backing of them sort of players. I'm sure the board would like that more than anyone. I think obviously he's got to start SA. And it's been a real shame for a Maku who sort of was just getting into the team and had a chance to show the new manager what he's about, and he's been injured now over Christmas as well. So it's sort of, I think he's definitely got to make do with what he's got, which at the moment isn't a lot, and that means playing the youth. But at the same time, he also shows faith in people like Ivanovic. We've given him high praise this week, so it's interesting to see.
All right, cheers for that, Charlie. Let's have a look at the Christmas fixtures then, and let's see. Let's look back at what's happened. Some mixed things here. First of all, Norwich on Boxing Day, Callum ended in a narrow defeat. Then we went to Coventry. I mean, less said about that game, the better. Nothing. I don't think anything happened particularly in that one. The Oxford game you've already talked about. What happened at Hillsborough? Because Ugbo missed a penalty. You could have been 2-0 down. But in the second half, you massively improved, didn't you?
I wouldn't say massively improved, if I'm honest. That first half was poor. I thought we just looked disjointed in that game. I can't believe that we scored 2 goals. We haven't scored 2 goals since September, which was a big surprise. I mean, Sheffield United should have been about 4 or 5-0 up, and that's being polite. I mean, we just look so disjointed. And I think that sort of, me going off, I'm going to go off topic here, but I think since Harris left, and these Christmas games have been coming up, it's almost feels like the club and the players have been quite disjointed, and it feels in disarray at the minute. And obviously, the start of the season was really good. We was picking up points, we was in the playoff picture, and then now we've started to hit a dip a little bit where we've not scored many goals, and we've been obviously losing quite a few games. So it's been quite difficult to sort of witness these last few games, and you could probably put it down to the squad's aging. I mean, we've said this before, but the squad's just aging. It's taken its toll on the squad, and we haven't got no players to bring off the bench to impact the first team. So that's why I mentioned earlier about the window. I think we need to probably have a massive rebuild in the summer, and potentially we need players that are experienced. Hopefully get some young players in that can impact that first team squad. That's what we need, because at the moment the squad's struggling to sort of get off the mark and get really energised up for these games.
Okay. That brings us nicely onto our second point of conversation then, Charlie. There's been some dissension in this stands, especially in the away games when certain players have been brought off the bench. And Bradshaw, in particular, I think, didn't receive a particularly rousing reception when he was brought on. Is there a problem with the fan base at the moment? We knew there was a divisions with Harris there, but are we too quick to get on the back of Honeyman's another example, even though he did score over the Christmas period? But do we just need to wipe the slate clean with some of these and just let Harris pick the best players? This is because he'll see them in training. Why do we have? Is there an issue?
I think at the moment what's needed from the fans as well is a little bit of patience. Obviously, I think there's a lot of uncertainty at the club at the moment, even from when Harris announced these last 2 games in charge. It was almost like a really weird feeling at the club. It's something that I've never seen happen before in football, and I feel like it's sort of that kept on going throughout the Christmas period, because the squad didn't have a lot of time with each other. Obviously, by the sounds of what Alex Neil said, I've heard him say, like, I think he only had 1 training session before the 3 games he's had in charge. So I don't think the team are necessarily as together as you'd like them to be. I think we're missing a lot of leadership on the pitch, with Jake Cooper injured, Hutchinson obviously injured. So probably the 2 biggest leaders in the squad. And I think that means from the fans, we need to give a little bit of patience to both the team and Alex Neil. We need to find out who his best players are. And obviously at the moment, he's only got off of what Harris has left to judge on that, and the staff that have obviously stayed over. So I think it's interesting to see how the fans sort of receive Alex O'Neill, because I don't think I've seen too many people get on his back so far, which is good because he's only had 2 games. So I think we just need to keep that patience and just supporting him. Wait until after January and then see where we are before any sort of big decisions are made. But yeah, I think at the moment we just need to be that sort of constantness there, because I don't think there is much constant at Millwall at the moment.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in there quickly? Adding on to that point, if you look at that starting 11, Mark, that started that game against Sheffield Wednesday, I think you've got about 7 players in that first 11 that are out of contract in the summer. So maybe, I don't know, I don't like putting players into that sort of category of where are their contracts up at the end of the season. They don't care. They do care, because obviously they get paid to play football and that's what they do. They do care. But you look at the sort of, Steve Gallen came out, we mentioned a Steve Gallen interview, he said that they're not going to give the players the contracts are ending at the summer. They're not going to do that yet. They're not going to go to the players and to the agents and say, we're going to give them a contract. So I think that's probably, the players don't know whether they're going to get signed in the summer or not. So I think that brings a lot of disarray in the whole club, whether who's going to stay, who's going to go. It's just an absolute mess at the minute. And hopefully, fingers crossed, something happens soon in January, or, hopefully the football doesn't take too bad of a hit from these contract situations that we've got in the squad at the moment.
Okay. Thank you very much, both of you, for that. If you disagree or agree with anything that they've said, drop it in the comments. But let's start to look forward then, shall we? It's FA Cup 3rd round this week, and it's a trip to Dagenham and Redbridge, which will be, I think, a fascinating game. Actually, we're going to bring in our Dagenham and Redbridge fan now, Joel. Welcome to Where Lions Walk, Joel. Thank you very much for stepping into this mini den here. Joel produces Dagnificent, which is a fantastic independent fan site about Dagenham and Redbridge, and you've also been nominated, haven't you, for the Football Content Awards? So congratulations for you to you on that. You obviously do a very good job. Welcome. How are you feeling about this game against the Wall?
Well, it's an interesting one because most teams in our position, most fan bases in our position, would be buzzing, looking forward to it, and obviously we are. But the overall mood at the club is the opposite to what you'd expect. It feels like for about 3 months we've been in a rut, and mood has been declining and declining, ultimately culminating in the sacking of our manager on Boxing Day. But we've had these FA Cup results at Crewe, at Wimbledon, that have just been put in the middle of that run out of nowhere, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in the third round and having something to look forward to, a mediocrity otherwise. So it's been a weird period to be a Dagenham fan, but we have got this to look forward to, and yeah, it should be a really good occasion, hopefully.
You don't have to lie here, Joel, but when the draw was being made, were you initially disappointed with Millwall as a draw, or actually locally because of the distance between the clubs? Is it something that you are actually quite excited about?
Well, when you look and you see Salford getting a trip to Man City, Tamworth hosting Spurs, Morecambe going to Chelsea, of course there is that wish that we could have got a plum tie, a once in a lifetime trip. But at the same time, you could have got a League Two side, or you could have got, there's far worse ties. We could have got the Millwall. You're still going to a Championship stadium, top half Championship side as they were when the draw was done. I don't know if they're still top half now, probably around mid-table after a couple of iffy results. But I think most of the fan base were sort of leaning towards being a bit disappointed with it. I was maybe down the middle. It could have been better, but it certainly could have been a lot worse. And it's still something different to go into the likes of Sutton and the like every week in non-league. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Just tell our Millwall fans watching, Joel, what sort of form are you in, and who's the one player we should watch out for?
It's not easy because a lot of the players who've been good all season and have been good throughout the cup run have been injured in the last couple of weeks. But the standout, if he does play, will be Dion Pereira. He's a loanee from Luton Town, and on his day, he's a League One player, if not higher. He's a wonderful footballer. And we have a few talented players throughout our squad. We should be doing better. As you can see from the results at Crewe and Wimbledon, we are capable of going toe-to-toe with sides in higher divisions on our day. They're two teams who are not just League Two, but in the League Two playoffs. Crewe second, I think Wimbledon are about fifth. So on our day, we're capable of a lot better. But unfortunately, sort of the mean and the medium when it comes to Dagenham is mediocrity, and that's why we are where we are. But we're hoping for better times ahead, and hopefully this FA Cup run can bring a bit of positivity where we need it most.
Sure. Cheers for Joel. Callum, is this a good game for Millwall or a potential banana skin?
I think, when we look at the EFL Cup, for example, and we get Leighton Orient at home, you're thinking, are we going to get a win here? The Mill thing, what we would say is we'd get beat by these sort of teams at home. I think, like when you get lower league teams come to the Den, the atmosphere, it depends on the atmosphere really. We're normally the underdogs when we play better teams, and when we play the lesser teams, we normally do the Millwall thing and we normally lose. So I think, listen, Dagenham Redbridge, they've got nothing to lose in this game. I think they're going to come to the Den. I think they're going to do very well. They're going to make it hard for us. They're going to try and sit back and counter-attack us. And we've got to break them down. But I think my heart's saying to me, we'll probably lose this game. But obviously a cup run is needed for us at the minute with our league form. I think we need to get some confidence into this team.
Okay. Joel, it's a Monday night game. Were you disappointed slightly at the arranging of the scheduling of it? I mean, people have said it should be traditionally Saturdays at 3:00. I mean, you'll be going hella high water, I'm sure, but does it ruin it slightly that it's Monday at 7:30?
I think the thing for us was that we were meant to play on the Saturday, but we were also meant to play on the Tuesday. So it's wiped out not just one but two league games and caused a bit of congestion down the line. But in terms of supporters, maybe would have taken a few more if it was a Saturday with, kids having school the next morning or whatever. But I don't think it will alter things too much. We've sold 1,200 at last count as per the recent club update. So I don't think it will change much. It's not like we're going up north. It's just a few stops along the district then Jubilee line for me, and for most supporters, it's well accessible within an hour. So I don't think it will change much. It could have been a lot worse. Imagine a sort of Sunday early afternoon game or a Saturday early kickoff. We were used to it. We went to Wimbledon Saturday night, which was I think a 7:15 kickoff. So we're used to the evenings in the FA Cup now, and it was quite nice under the lights last time. I think might work in our favour.
Okay. Charlie, Millwall got some pedigree in the FA Cup, of course, being in the final with Manchester United. It was sort of 15 or so years ago. Is this a season you can have a good cup run, do you think?
I'd like to think so. I think we do have a lot of quality in our side at the moment. And I think on the game on Monday night, I think we are actually going to go for quite a strong lineup because I think Alex Neil wants to get to know his players. So I think we could see us coming out quite strong, opposed to what we normally do and sort of almost put an underwhelming lineup out. I feel like it could be, we could be seeing likes of Tanganga and SA starting on Monday. The only thing about it is with the sort of games where, in the years where we have had a long cup run, we have had sort of the big fixtures to back it up. And no offence to Dagenham Redbridge, I think that the ground on Monday night, there might be more Dagenham fans than Millwall fans. Also, to do with the fact that it's being televised. So I think that might not help us on Monday night. We saw it earlier in the season with Leyton Orient in the EFL Cup. I was there that night, and I think there was about 700 Millwall fans there. You need that atmosphere with Millwall in the Cup. That's what normally gets us through them games. So I think, as we were talking about in the last point, if the fans can get behind the team and we play a quality side, then I think obviously we should be expecting to go on to the next round and hopefully get a Premier League side or something like that and do the Millwall thing of being the underdogs. But it would be quite us to get knocked out this round, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Joel, do you give yourselves any chance at all?
I give us an outside chance. I'm not silly. I know that the odds are massively against us, and we'll have to do something special. We've already done something special in getting to this stage with the previous games, but we'll have to do something extra special. We're hoping that Millwall rest players and sort of maybe the sparsity of a home crowd would help us. But on our day, we can be a very good side. And if we play at our absolute maximum and Millwall aren't at their best or anywhere near their best, then maybe we do have an outside chance. The luxury of the FA Cup is that logic goes out the window, I suppose. So, bring it on.
Brilliant. Right. With that said, we wish you all the very best of. Well, I wish you all the best of luck. These two don't as a neutral. Thanks so much for joining us, Joel. Congratulations again on the work that you do on your fan site. Obviously, massively talented, you and your team there. And perhaps we'll see you again, perhaps in the near future. Thanks, Joel. All the best to you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers for that. Right, you two. Final one then, very quickly. One name, please, that you love to see in a Millwall shirt by the end of January. Callum.
I'm trying to pronounce his name, so I wrote him down earlier. Mike Hydroxon. I can't remember his name, but he's basically a centre back. So his name is Mike Adhoikson. So he's a centre back from Sparta Rotterdam in Belgium. So he's a left-footed centre back, 23 years old, and he's been linked with us recently. And I'd love to see him come down because we need centre backs. So so apologies for the name pronunciation, but we got there in the end. But he's a left-footed centre back, and we've been linked with him.
Brilliant. Right, with that said, we wish you all the very best of luck. These two don't as a neutral. Thanks so much for joining us, Joel. Congratulations again on the work that you do. Your fan site. Brilliant. Right. I was worried then I'd never heard of him, but then I realised there's a reason I've never heard of him.
It's just my pronunciation.
Yeah, not to right. Okay. So, Charlie?
Yeah, I think I'd agree. We definitely need a centre back in this window. But if there was one sort of player that I would love to see us go for this window, I'd also like to see us go for an attacking player. And I think Louis Barry, who's just I saw today that Derby are interested in getting him on loan, and I think if Derby can go for him, then why can't we? I think he's a great young prospect, and if he can put up the same sort of numbers that he was doing in League One, then he's more than welcome down the Den.
Okay. You're the 21st team, I think, that have mentioned his name after 21 of us. Okay. Yeah, Aston Villa have got lots of new friends. Right. Thank you very much, you two, for joining us this week. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy. Now, of course, next Monday when we record this, you'll be at the game. All right. So we will see you in a couple of weeks' time to review all of that. Enjoy the game. Thank you very much for watching, and drop us a subscribe if you haven't done so already. Cheers.